All right, everybody, welcome to this presentation. Today I'm going to be talking about how I generated $15,000 in 90 days. $100,000 of that was profit and using my own resources. So I wasn't spending any money on paid traffic or anything like that. It was all just, my own email list, my own social networks, referral base, and some of the organic strategies I'm going to be sharing with you today. So if you are a B2B professional, a coach, consultant, service provider, or you are, an expert who helps other people generate income, this is going to be a great discussion for you. I'm going to be covering how to use Google Search if you're a niche specialist, to bring more leads to your business each day. How to leverage your email list. So if you do have an email list, this is going to be a good discussion for you, as well as leveraging Facebook and LinkedIn and things like that. So one quick announcement before I jump in. I am looking to partner with a handful of B2B specialists. So if you run a B2B business, or you help your clients or either companies or individuals generate revenue, I am going to be partnering with a few companies or individuals in September, where my goal will be to help them add at least $10,000 to $25,000 per month to their business, utilizing the resources that they currently have right in front of them. So like their email list, referral partners, and all those kind of things. So if you're interested in learning more about that, that'll be starting up in September. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and comment partner in the comments section, and I'll follow up with you to make sure it's a good fit and provide more information. If you're listening to this on Zoom or in a replay capacity, then go ahead and email me directly. It's John, Jon, at John Schumacher, SCHUMACHER.com. So just send me an email with the headline partner, and I'll follow up, make sure it's a good fit, and we will we will make sure it's a good fit for you there. So anyway, let me go ahead real quick then and make sure we're streaming everybody okay on Facebook. Let me come back over here real quick, and then we'll jump into the presentation. Looks like CS is here. Thank you for watching, CS. And cool. Awesome. Well, let me go ahead and jump into this and walk you all through this. If you have any questions and you're here live, feel free to use the chat box as we go through this presentation. All right, so I'm going to pull up my slides. So what I want to do is cover, again, how I made $15,000 in 90 days using my own resources. So today we're going to talk a bit about Google Search. So if you're a niche specialist and you're not using Google Search when you're creating content for your business, there's a good chance you're really missing the boat. This has been my number one, besides referrals, my number one source of new inbound leads to my business the last 3 years. And I've generated, probably I'd say over $250,000 just from Google Search itself over the last 3 years. We're going to talk a little bit about organic Facebook, and much of what I'll be sharing here will also apply for you if you're more of a LinkedIn person, or if you're more in the B2B space. I am not as much of a LinkedIn person. I tend to use Facebook more. We'll be talking about some ideas there. Talking a little bit about email marketing. And so if you have an email list, there's some good insights you'll get from this conversation. And I'm not going to dig into referrals as much this time. I'm going to be doing another training on that topic soon. But I'll be doing that probably within the next week or so. But of that 115, I would say probably close to 50% of it came from referrals and systems that I've set up for that. I would say maybe a quarter of that came from Google Search, just people finding my website and coming on board and booking a call with me. And then the other remaining quarter, I would say, comes from a combination of email marketing and the occasional Facebook promotions that I do. So I'm going to lift up the hood a little bit here and share some insights during this discussion here. So let's talk a little bit about Google Search. Now, this is something most people, hardly anybody, talks about, and that's how to leverage Google Search in a capacity to bring you leads like literally on autopilot. Like I literally get leads every week who come through my website from a piece of content, either directly through my homepage because it ranks on Google or whatever. This just happens automatically each week here. So if you're a niche expert, this is really good for you in particular. So if you're a LinkedIn coach, for example, or an Instagram coach or agency, or if you're like me, a webinar consultant, this strategy can work really, really well for you. So again, it's not impossible to rank for these niche buyer keywords. As a generalist, you just have to be a little more strategic in how you rank your pages and stuff. But if you're like LinkedIn coach, for example, I'm going to show you a couple tools here now. Is just a low hanging fruit. So if you're a LinkedIn coach, you should be leveraging Google search right now. So anyway, let me just go ahead and share my screen here. You guys should be able to see this okay. So if you type in, for example, webinar consultant, here I am, the number one term in Google for that keyword. And you can see all I've done here with my website is, I've got the title and the description here optimized. So for those keywords. So you can use a tool like Yoast plugin, very simple tool for your WordPress site, and just make sure you fill in your title and your description with your target keywords. And it can make a huge difference. I remember before I did this, I wasn't getting nearly the flow of leads that I'm getting now from Google. And these aren't huge volume keywords, but they add up and they give you a good number of inbound leads. And the people that are searching webinar coach, webinar consultant, if I put in webinar coach, I also rank in the top, 2 or 3. Looks like I'm ranked. So I own the second and third position for that word, for that keyword. Webinar expert, because I've been a webinar consultant now for the past few years. I rank number 1 for, looks like number 2 then for that right now. But my point is, people that search these, let's say it's a couple hundred a month, come to Google. They're looking for for someone to help them. They type in that term, they go right through my website, and they book a call with me. And this happens each week. I usually get at least 1, sometimes 2 people that reach out to me. And some of these are pretty good businesses. Just this year, I closed a $30,000 consulting gig for a large company that was looking to hire someone to help them consult on building a webinar program for their sales team. And so just because they found me on Google. So there's a lot of potential here for you if you are a niche expert in your space. So for example, a couple tools you can use. So I definitely, on your website, you can just use a tool like Yoast to update your title and your description. Now, how do you know how much traffic you're getting or how easy those things are to rank for? Well, there's a tool called KW Finder. It's a little expensive, but you can try it for free for 10 days. You can type in your keywords. I call them coaching keywords. So it could be like LinkedIn coach, Instagram coach, life coach. You'll have to look at the difficulty of these words. So for example, here's another tool that you can just Google. It's called Ubersuggest. It's a free tool that Neil Patel puts on his website. And you can see I put in the keyword LinkedIn coach. Again, if anyone's a LinkedIn coach on here, it's just such a low-hanging fruit. You're just literally missing out on leads right now. 170 people search this every month, which doesn't seem like a lot, but anybody who types in LinkedIn coach is looking for help for LinkedIn. So if you're a LinkedIn coach, you could put LinkedIn expert on, LinkedIn consultant. All those keywords will probably add up to a few hundred searches a month. And you can see the difficulty here is only at 20. So it's very, very, very easy to just dominate this niche here. So just throwing this out there for you as if you're in the B2B space, or even if you're not, think through like what kind of niche are you in, and use tools like Ubersuggest, do a Google search, see what's out there. And there's a good chance if you optimize your website that you may start ranking for those keywords. And as a result of that, get people who just are literally searching Google, which, as you may know, is much warmer traffic than, let's say, Facebook. These people have an intent to find a LinkedIn coach. When people search me out, they have an intent to find a webinar expert, or, and that's my niche that I've found over the last few years. So anyway, something to think about. Not everybody can just easily do this. If you're more of a generalist, this may not apply to you as much. But if you are a consultant or coach, an expert, or an agency, and you're not looking at this as a way to get you just literally consistent leads that come to you on autopilot, you may be missing out on some good traffic sources here. Again, I've made well over $250,000 this past few years just from these little keywords for people all over the world who search that term and want to work with me. So something for you to consider for yourself. Anybody on here? Let's see. We got Liz, Max, Pamela. Welcome to the Zoom call. A little light on the Zoom attendance today. I think we had about 27 or 8 people sign up. So anyone have any questions on Facebook as well, feel free to punch those in as we go. Give me lots of likes and comments. That's how more people will see these kind of trainings that I do. So if you're on Facebook, would love and appreciate a like and a comment and all those things. Yo, Anthony, what's up? Strong buyer intent keyword. That's right. Perfect. Thanks for coming and watching here today. Perfect. All right. So why don't I go, I'm going to come back to my slides now and continue on this discussion and talk a little bit about Facebook organic. I put LinkedIn on here. I'm not much of a LinkedIn guy, as I said, but I know for a fact that a lot of my peers are using LinkedIn effectively. LinkedIn video is getting a lot of reach right now. Video in general tends to get more reach, especially Facebook Lives are tending to get more reach on Facebook right now. But I want to break down a couple of scenarios, big picture, what you can post and where to post and those kind of things. So I did use Facebook for, I would say, maybe 12% or so of that 115,000 that I made. And you do it through a combination of authority posts, which are meant to share your expertise with others and build rapport with them, and direct ask posts. I'll show you what those look like in a minute. Where to post. Your personal profile, in many cases, depending on how many people you have on Facebook, under your personal profile, can be a great source for you to share your expertise. I've gotten clients anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 gigs by sharing authority posts or direct ask posts on my personal profile. Now, some of you may or may not have as many connections as I have on there. Almost 5,000 friends now on Facebook, but some of you do, and some of you, if you do have, if you look through your friends and you see that there are some potential clients there, your personal profile can be a great resource for you to share your expertise on a consistent basis. Facebook groups, you can actually search Facebook for different groups in your niche. I would recommend you join maybe 2 or 3 at the most and look for the busiest ones where you can go in, share some of your insights, comment on other people's stuff, build friendships and build relationships inside those groups. That can be a good resource for you as well. And then your own group. So right now I'm streaming to one of my Facebook groups, my largest open Facebook group, which has about 1,700 people in it. And having your own Facebook group can be a great resource for you to build connections and build rapport with people. So let's look at a few examples of posts then. I'm going to come back and share my other screen here. Come back on here. Let's get rid of Google. Let's talk a little bit about some of the overviews of the different types of posts you can do on Facebook. You can do similar things on LinkedIn if that's where your audience is. Again, I talked about having authority posts and also direct ask posts. So again, authority posts are things meant to illuminate your audience to the fact that you're an authority. So it's things like case studies, like client results, things like that. Rants or personality things that you like, if you have an issue with a certain part of your industry or whatever, sharing rants can be a good way to drive engagement to you on Facebook or LinkedIn. List posts, so like a list of seven ways to do X, Y, and Z can be another great resource. Doing Facebook Lives. Facebook Live is a bit scary for some people, but it can be a great resource for authority building. Commit to doing, a series of trainings. Like I'm in the middle of doing 5 trainings right now. This is the second one that I'll be sharing with my Facebook audience, with my email list, with the YouTube audience, all that kind of stuff. So, doing Facebook Lives and videos, sharing insights with people is a great way to build authority with your tribe. And then we have direct ask posts. So things like when you're making an offer, for example. So it could be an offer to book a call with you or to reply and start a conversation about working together. Could be a post to comment below and receive a video or a PDF download or something like that. And again, this is a template that I give a lot of my clients who are working on Facebook stuff. As far as a ratio, there's no hard ratio, but I would, as a general rule, I share that, maybe post 2 or 3 authority posts a week if you're wanting to be consistent on Facebook. So, 2 or 3 case examples or list posts or rants or insights or Facebook Lives. Then you can do those again on your personal profile. You can do them in your Facebook group. Those are 2 good ways to continue to get in front of your clients and audience. And then maybe every 3 or 4 weeks, do a direct ask post, like be strategic. Most experts don't make enough offers. They'll give value, they give value, they give value, and they're afraid to make enough offers. And the same principle can apply to your email, which I'll talk about in a second, but we don't make near enough offers. And I've found that the more direct and compelling your offer is, the more people respond. If you try to hide it under a little bit of value and don't make a strong, bold ask, you're just not going to get as many clients. So if you want to double your business this year, double the amount of offers that you make and double the amount of clarity and directness that you make with your offers, and you'll get a lot more people working with you from Facebook and also from email, which I'll touch on here in a second. So I hope that gives you an idea. If anyone has any questions on this stuff, just feel free to pop it if you're on Facebook, in the comments, or on Zoom in the chat. We just have a few people here on Zoom, it looks like. So examples of authority posts, and again, I'll show you an example in a second. So here's one from me on my personal profile, and got a fair amount of engagement. Let's see, I got 29 likes, 20 comments, 1 share, where basically how to grow through. You can grow through volume or deal size. So I talked about how most B2B coaches only know how to grow through scaling more clients instead of like deal size. And then I gave a pretty lengthy authority building post on what I did there. I had a nice image of myself. So make sure when you post on there, you have a nice image of yourself and you really dig into the authority that you're going to be talking about. So let me just show you that post real quick, and then I'll show you a few examples of some other posts that I have in my swipe file. So you can see here, this is the entire post. And again, the same post, the same copy rather, was used in an email. So you can kind of interchange Facebook. Facebook is really good for long form copy. That's why I like it. LinkedIn limits you, I think, to a certain number of characters, so you can't do these longer authority posts. You can see that's a fairly long post with a picture at the end. Lots of good feedback from people here and those kind of things. And so what you can do is, and here's the phrase for this. My mentor, Adam, called it spotlighting. I think that's a good way of putting it. Basically, when you post these authority posts on here, some ways to increase engagement, make sure to reply to most of your comments here. Reply back and forth. Try to have conversations in the chat here. The more conversation you can have in the chat, the more engagement Facebook will give your posts. And then start conversations with people who come to your content. So for example, when I'm doing authority posts and I'm in the mode of looking for more clients, you can see exactly how many people liked on it, commented on it, and you can literally just go right to their Facebook profile and start a messenger conversation with those people, and get into, potential from messenger to a phone call with your potential clients. So, using your content as this sort of lighthouse or this illumination to your expertise, and then following up with people who are engaging with your content is a great way to grow your network on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And so that's an example of an authority post that I shared recently. Some other examples from my friend Mark Firth, who is a LinkedIn expert. He basically was sharing a client result, another client celebrating 2 calls booked in the last 24 hours. And then he has like a screenshot from Facebook. Those help to build authority consistently. Another case study from Mark. Here's a client averaging 8 appointments per week. Here's a screenshot of that client being happy with Mark. Mark did a Facebook Live. Here's another one from me, which is a list post. After working on creating 22 high-end webinar funnels this past 12 months, which is amazing but true. I found out what works and what doesn't work, and then I share a few of my insights on that with my personal profile, and had a bunch of people respond to that, and then I was able to have conversations with those people. I did a rant post, how not to approach someone with a virtual summit interview for a virtual summit interview. Rants, people always like to rally behind that. So if you are against something in your industry, that helps you kind of drive engagement and visibility. So those are some authority posts that I've used. Let's get rid of that. Get a quick sip of water. So direct ask posts. These are things where you're actually asking for a response directly. And this is something almost nobody does. And I've found that in many cases, this is how you get the best response. So this post right here was on my Facebook personal profile. And basically what I did was I shared a few case study statements of people I'd worked with. And then I said, for the right person, I would like to share something. I don't do this often, but these are the results from some of my private clients. Who of my friends here would like to have a webinar created for them in March? We have the right strategy, a great copywriter, and a designer who works with a Fortune 500 company. If you're interested, PM me or comment below with webinar, and I'll reach out. That's a good call to action for direct ask posts. Is PM me or comment below with a certain word. We want to make it easy for them to do. This post got pretty good engagement. Your direct ask posts won't get as much engagement as some of the authority building ones, but a lot of times they will get people interested in what you are doing. A lot of times, people that are the most interested or the best buyers won't even like the post. They'll just reach out to you, or they'll see it and then down the road want to work with you. So don't always tie engagement to effectiveness, particularly when you're making direct ask posts. I had 7 qualified sales calls from this, and ended up closing $15,000 in revenue from this one little post that took me a few minutes to put together. Now I know I have some authority in that space, but it can work well for you too, for whatever level you're at. Let's see what else. You can have people comment for like a PDF. Like in this case, I just put the finishing touches on my new guide. It's called 27 Conversion Points That Can Double Your Revenue. And if you'd like a copy, PM me. I had a whole bunch of people reach out to me on that. So those are some examples of direct ask posts. They're going to be similar to emails. Like Facebook and email are pretty interchangeable in my opinion. There's slight differences, but a lot of the same wordage and strategies can be used when you're doing email as well. So that is that. Let me go ahead and get rid of this, and I want to talk a little bit about email. Email marketing, very much the similar, nothing crazy here. Most of you, if you have an email list, probably aren't utilizing your asset well. One of my specialties is looking at businesses, online businesses with email lists and figuring out ways to monetize them. And if you have one of those, no matter what industry you're in, and you're not sending at least a weekly or more authority building email with a soft call to action to work with you, or a direct ask email, I would say every 3 to 4 weeks at a minimum, you are not giving people the chance to know what you do and to work with you in a big way. So let's go over some examples here in the email space and see what we can do. So when I say direct ask emails, what I'm talking about are so let's start with authority emails first, for example. So the examples of those are very similar to the Facebook posts. You can share insights with your list. So you could have maybe email them 2 or 3 times a week with an insight from your industry. I have some colleagues who email every day, and it's just maybe a short little email snippet with an insight. Maybe it's on how to do better content marketing, or a rant about the industry or something like that. And then at the bottom of the email, there's usually a couple links, that says something like, when you're ready to work with me, here are a couple ways that we can work together. One, join my Facebook group to, get more updates and free trainings. 2, reply back with, a certain word if you're at this certain level and want to work together, or reply, or 3rd, if you're, let's say, at 6 figures and want to go to 7 figures or whatever, comment back with private if you want to work with me one-on-one privately. You see people like Taki Moore do this, and a few others have modeled it after him. I think it's a nice way to just continually get top of mind with your clientele and continue to give them a chance to work with you. I can't say that I've always followed that advice, but I have done that a number of times, and I think it's a good way to run your business. I'm not a big launch guy. I'm not a hard pitch promo guy. I just want to continually, over time, have this evergreen business model of continuing to give value and give people opportunities to work with me. So that's how I would do it from the authority building email standpoint. So I would send at least one a week. It could be an insight email with a soft call to action. Could be an interview if you have a podcast or you're doing interviews with other experts, which is a great strategy. But do that stuff consistently. You got to stay top of mind. Only about 3% of people are really red hot and ready to buy from you right now. So you need to kind of continue to be top of mind over time. I mean, I've had people that have been on my list for years, and then they finally come forward and want to work together. So anyway, email. So these are direct ask emails, and I would do these, at least have a promotion or some kind of thing where, in addition to your insights and soft asks, you do a direct ask for some kind of working relationship. So here's one I did recently. I call these my hand-raising strategies, or my hand-raising campaigns. Email subject line was RSVP, which actually gets a very high open rate. I'm looking to partner with a few folks who have an email list and an offer or 2 over $1,000. I have a simple email campaign that wakes up your list and gets them on the phone with you fast. You don't need a webinar or VSL or professional videos at all. Just a few simple emails and a way to take payment. I just ran this little campaign myself with a list of only 5,000, and the results, I had 40 people raise their hand, 11 qualified, and 3 are now working with me. Would you like to talk about partnering with this? And this little email got a ton of engagement. I had 40 people reply, ended up working with 3 of them, and it went really well, in this campaign. So this is called conversational email strategies. And they work really well. So if you want a lot of people replying and engaging with from your email, make these smaller conversational emails directly with your list, and you'll get a lot more people responding to you. A lot of marketers make these really long emails and stuff, and I've been guilty of this in the past too. but those are usually too much for someone. Think of like how you would have a conversation in person and try to duplicate that via email the best you can. So I did this little email campaign, and I had 40 people raise their hand. After that, I sent them this little qualifier email, which basically says, thanks for connecting, excited to know more about you. 2 quick questions. Can you tell me a little bit about your list size? And do you have a proven offer, preferably 2 or 3 with testimonials that you sell for over $500? Let me know and I'll send the rest of the details. So I had about half of that 40 people respond to this little message. So only people who got this email were the people that raised their hand. That's why they call this little hand raiser strategy. It works really, really well. And so what I did was, when people responded to this one, is I just said, great, thanks for letting me know. If they looked qualified, then I set up a quick call. Let's set up a quick call. Does this Thursday at noon or Friday at 1 work for you? And then before I get on a call with them, I'll actually send them the details of the program. So maybe a couple hours before the call, I'll send them a kind of a longer message with, here's some of the details that we'll be discussing on the call. And a percentage of these people will want to work together. So it works really well if you do have an engaged email list, a buyer's list, like if you're, if you have an e-commerce business or something and you have a list of buyers and you want to sell consulting or coaching or something a little higher in value, this works really well with people that know you, not as well when you have a colder audience, obviously, because it's kind of a very subtle, direct little email campaign. But it works really, really well. I use this with a number of clients as a go-to campaign for booking them with leads consistently. One more example, and then I'm going to pause and answer any questions here. This was a direct ask email I sent out to my list, I think in November of last year. I got 3 clients at $5,000 a piece for a 1-month engagement. So that was $5,000 for working together for a month. And basically, I just framed this as, let's work together to make 2019 your best year ever. So it was basically what it was a business growth plan. So I was offering to do a 4-week growth plan to help them kind of strategize to grow their business in 2019. So I said, it's already mid-November. That means 2018 is coming to a close. Do you have a strategic plan to grow your business in 2019? I'm looking to work with the right business, first as an advisor over 4 weeks, then if it makes sense as a partner to double, triple, or even quadruple your business in the next 12 months. I will work with you one-on-one over the next 4 weeks to create a fully customized business growth plan that will help you explode in 2019. My case studies are strong and my methods are proven. So I shared more case examples here of people I've worked with. And here's what we may do to help you grow. We may restructure your offer. We may develop a content marketing strategy. We may build an automated funnel. And most of all, we will shift your mind. And then this is where I do some risk reversal. At the end of 4 weeks, if you don't feel like I gave you 10x value, I will personally broker one deal for your business that will generate twice as much as you've invested in me. Here's what you need to do now. So you always need to tell people in these direct asks what to do now. If you'd like to work together one-on-one over the next 4 weeks to create your fully customized business growth plan for your business, just reply to this message and put growth in the subject line. Tell me a little bit about your business. And that's pretty much all it is. This email got a pretty good response rate. I can't remember how many people responded to it. I think I sent it out to about 5,000 people and ended up working with 3 clients. So made about $15,000 from that email for about a month's work. So anyway, those are just some examples. I know it's probably maybe is a little too much or a little too much detail for a Facebook discussion, but hopefully that was somewhat helpful for you. And let me go ahead and share my screen here one more time with the slides. All right, so that's really what I wanted to go through, and it was the combination of Google search. I mean, referrals, which I want to touch on next time. I'm going to be doing a training on that. Referrals is probably 50%, and I don't care what people say. People knock referrals, and you need they're just luck business or whatever. Like if you have an intentional, strong referral network, you're going to do pretty well in business. That's the dream scenario, is to get really good people referring other really good people to your business. I don't care what people say. Referrals are awesome. And if I could only rely on referrals forever, I would, and only work with really good people. So again, of that 115,000, 50% of it or so was referrals, 25 or so was from Google, and then the other 25 was from Facebook and email. And so that's how I did it. I had a good offer. My offer was around 3 to 30,000 in depending on what people wanted. And that's how I got to the 115. So, anybody have any questions here on Zoom? I see Max and Pamela still on. Feel free to put a comment in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for now. So if you're listening to this, this will be the end of the recording. We're uploading this to YouTube and a few other places as well for repurposing. So I'm going to go ahead and end this discussion for the recording.